the Onion News Network.
Hello there, and welcome. It's Tuesday, January 27th, 2015. I'm here live in studio in Keene, New Hampshire, broadcasting from the Liberty Media capital of the world, your host, Derek J. You can watch, chat, listen, and interact with other listeners at peacenewsnow.com/live. You can also join us at lrn.fm. We will be taking calls tonight, although, we've got a full set, so, keep your calls brief if you want to make them. You can get your last words in. The number's 443-424-8347, or you can Skype Peace News Now. So joining me for this first segment of our last episode is Liz Reitzig, one of the people who helped me at the very beginning of this show. She was one of our early guests. And I've had a long history with Liz and activism. I actually learned about Liz before I even met her from the Alex Jones show. She was courageously leading a group of moms across the country, breaking the law. And I thought that was awesome. She wasn't just breaking the law by knocking over liquor stores. She was carrying raw milk across state lines. And I thought it was so absurd that that's illegal, and good for these moms to challenge that. And now she blogs at a website called nourishingliberty.com. Liz Reitzig, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Derek. And really, it's been such an honor to be a part of this show and to be an activist alongside you in so many ways.
Well, the feeling is mutual, Liz. It's been too long, as we were saying. We caught up right before the program. It's just really great, and I want to, normally we do news, we talk, it's peace news, but I just want to hang out with my friends. So I asked a couple of guests. We're going to have 8 guests on, one for each segment, and so I just sort of wanted to recap and highlight some of these amazing people who I've met over the years, and you are one of them. We first interacted over at a Lemonade Freedom Day, and that happened in Washington, D.C. It was so awesome. I think there's even some video that I'll link to in the show notes so that people can see what was going on around that time. But can you tell us a little bit about what that was like? Do you remember that? I remember it was August 18th, 2012.
Yeah, and the point of it was that we were going to be selling raw milk and lemonade right outside the Capitol, both of which it's illegal to sell there, and raw milk, of course, it's completely illegal in D.C., and we had to transport it across state lines to get it there. So
yeah, that was really cool.
That alludes back to what you were talking about earlier, which is that it's illegal to transport it across state lines.
Yeah, it was so much fun. There were like 30 or so people. Oh, actually, there were, how many people were there? Over 100? I forget.
Yeah, I think we had a couple of hundred.
Yeah, that was a lot more people than I expected. I said 30 because that's what I was expecting. Some activism event where people are breaking the law. How many people are willing to come out for that?
Right.
But we had over 100 at least.
Yeah.
And you said, hundreds. And kids participated. Kids were buying milk and lemonade. And I thought one of the coolest parts of this was that it was a victory, whereas in years past it had not been.
Right.
I don't know if you remember or if you were even present when there were 3 people who were arrested outside of the very same place, outside of the Capitol, for selling lemonade, and they actually returned for year 2, and numbers made all the difference, I think. That was the takeaway from our event, was that, because there were so many people. Do you remember there was even people who was on the microphone? Robert Fernandez was goading the police with his megaphone.
Right. Well, I think some of the pre-publicity helped also, because we sort of were thumbing our noses at them and challenging them a little bit, and they knew that, so they stayed away.
Challenging who? The police, and the
FDA. Pretty blatantly challenging the FDA.
Yeah. Did you go by the FDA? Did you? Oh, hey, that's another thing we did together, was going outside of the. What was it, the USDA, the agriculture building, and did a stone soup together?
Oh, yes, that was for the GMO issue, talking about how states should be able to add that to nutritional labels that they foods contain GMO ingredients, and to make the point that a former Monsanto employee maybe is not the best person to appoint as the head of the FDA. I think that was the bigger message that day. Is like, hey, let's have some accountability here in the FDA, not just have the fox guarding the hen house, so to speak.
Yeah, it was so cool. Have you done any other events like that where you've openly broken the law? You've spoken in front of who was that group of people that you spoke in front of and said like, "Hey, I break the law. Come and get me."
Right, right. Yeah, we've done many events related to food like that. Several areas of the country, several states where the raw milk issue has been contested in court or where farmers have been criminalized. And then, of course, our big one at the FDA headquarters where we brought raw milk across state lines and then invited the FDA to join us for milk and cookies.
Hey, one of the other cool things was we went to a trial together in Wisconsin where not Alvin Schlangen, he was in Minnesota. This was Vernon Hirschberger.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was on trial, and the jury actually used jury nullification to find him not guilty for violating a law which he clearly broke.
Yeah.
And at that event, you brought raw milk from the farm, and even the bailiffs, like, they had nothing to say about it. I mean, they were not going to stop us from celebrating and drinking some milk. Did they even get to have some?
I think we offered it to them. I think they gracefully declined.
Like, no, sorry, we can't really do that. But they were kind of licking their lips, like, what? Everyone's enjoying this. We even ran out. I mean, everyone had some.
The significance of the jury, like many of the jurors after the trial was over signed up to be in Vernon's buying club.
That was the coolest part.
It was.
That taught me so much about jury nullification and how successful it can be when the defense attorney makes the case that, yeah, like, this guy totally did what the government accuses him of doing. And that's awesome. You should find him not guilty.
Yeah, exactly. And the emphasis, of course, being on, he's a peaceful farmer, and it's just totally normal, natural human behavior, what he's engaged in. He's feeding his community. And, his dad getting up on the witness stand and talking about it, it really brought it down to the familial level and something that everybody could relate to.
I think that is so cool. So there was some other cool things about that event, which was that the jury, you said they became members, but the bailiffs sort of softened over time because of the persistence of Vernon's customers. Like, his customers were his support there. And, like, that's so unusual. You don't see that. Like, who goes and rises to the support or any other business,
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so the customers were really the backbone there, and they came and showed up in numbers. That was another example where numbers make the difference.
They really do.
So what's the future here of food freedom, and how are we gonna change that? What are you working on right now?
Well, there's a few bills going that would remove certain restrictions from direct farmer-to-consumer sales. And I think it's important to support those on every level because if by some miracle the bills pass, that's like dramatically untying farmers' hands. And if even whatever we do around those bills brings awareness and more people who are willing to not comply with those restrictions. So the more we can just get the attention on these issues, the more we realize there's a lot of support for the non-compliance aspect of it. And I continue to grow my garden, and it gets bigger and better every year, and I love it. And I tell everybody else that it's amazing, and they can do it too, and encourage it through giving people seedlings or seeds or helping them in whatever way possible. I think that is fundamentally one of the most important things everybody can do is just engage, get your hands dirty, whether it's one potted plant or a whole backyard garden or a community garden, get your hands dirty.
You taught me that. I went to garden at your backyard. We planted some seeds and watered them, let them grow, and it was that inspiration of getting my hands dirty there that made me grow my own garden here in Keene, New Hampshire, which was successful for year one.
So awesome. Congratulations.
Here. Thanks so much for all the inspiration, Liz. You are amazing.
Thank you.
Your website is nourishingliberty.com. Thanks so much, Liz Reitzig.
Thank you, Darren.
A heroine. We'll be right back. Next, we'll be speaking with a band that performs Liberty music. Very cool.
I love my magic mud. I drink.
Yay! Thanks so much.
So nice.
Oh, so overdue, and I'm so glad I got to chat with you. Hey, I'm doing another show. We didn't get into, I'm wrapping up Peace News because I'm going to be doing another show called Flaming Freedom, which already existed. It used to exist, but it sort of died out, and I want to rekindle that flame. So,
Cool.
yeah, so that show will still exist, and we'll have plenty of opportunities to chat.
Yay, I love your outfit.
Thank you.
So good to talk to you again.
Likewise, Liz. I'll see you again soon.
All right, so much love and good luck.
Thank you. Peace. All right, listeners. So thank you for tuning in. This is the final episode of Peace News. We'll be joined shortly by our next guest. In the meantime, you can donate to this program to help support me. This is the final time I'm going to ask. So for here, this QR code by my side is where you can donate Bitcoin. So every donation helps. Thank you very much.
Every individual. The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation. Peace as your way. Love as your guide.
And liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Gabino lives in...
Oh, hey.
Hey,
Jack. Do you
Hey,
go
how's
by
it-
Jack?
do I know about what?
You go by Jack?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Do you have a stage name, or do you? And right now we're live on YouTube, but our real audience is going to be at lrn.fm, and that comes on in 90 seconds. So we've got a little bit of time to pregame here. So what is your official introduction name? What shall I call you?
You could just call me Jack. I used to go by Jack Anthony when I had like a couple solo albums I put out, but now with this band, I pretty much abandoned that, and I'm just Jack.
Just Jack. Just Jack.
Yeah.
Those are things from Will and Grace. All right. So awesome. I look forward to chatting about Warehouse One, facebook.com/Warehouse1Music. I'll do a little screen share for the audience to let them know a little bit about who you are. And I'm going to play that song, if that's cool with you. Can I play the song that you guys tweeted at me earlier this morning?
Absolutely.
Crime Spree?
Yeah.
Rad. Okay, cool. Hey, and I was talking with Ian Freeman. He was saying how cool it would be. We should, one of us is going to make a music video that would incorporate some of the scenes from Victimless Crime Spree into, along with the song. I thought it was so cool. We were listening to the song, on repeat all day today. So
Awesome. I mean, I already stole the title from you without asking, so you can go ahead and use the song for whatever you want.
cool. Ain't no thing. I love it. All right, we got 15 seconds. Here we go.
And sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. It is Peace News. We're live. It's Tuesday, January 27th, and it is our final episode. I'm so glad to present to you Jack from Warehouse One, who tweeted at me earlier this morning with some kick-ass music, and I loved it. So we're gonna play it for you. Well, actually, let's introduce him first, and then we'll play some of the songs. So Jack, how you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
I'm rocking and rolling. Where are you at right now? Where are you located?
Well, I'm in my bedroom in San Pedro, California. It's a small town kind of next to Long Beach.
And you are putting out an album in just a couple of days called Light It Up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes out, well, our release show is Saturday night on the 31st of this week. It should hit iTunes the same day, but I don't know, sometimes it gets screwed up. But hopefully it will be out worldwide on Saturday.
Cool. Where's the show happening?
It's at a place here in San Pedro called the Grand Annex. It's not a huge place. Fits about 200 people, but it's gonna be a good time.
Rad. Okay, so I want to play for the people how I encountered you. I had never heard of you before today, but now I will be listening to Warehouse 1. I'm going to buy the album Light It Up. And here is the song that was tweeted at me earlier today. The title? Victimless Crime Spree. Take a listen.
You want to try me tonight, young boy? You want to go to jail for some fucking reason I come up with? You want to see who knows the law better, me or you?
If you got a problem with how I live, if I haven't met your quota with the fucks I give, I guess you got a problem with me. But can't you see we got a common enemy who only stands to profit when we disagree, who hates it when you try to live free? So eat the fat you want to eat. Drink your beer out on the street. Respect your fellow man. Authority be damned. A victimless crime spree is outside your door. They'll come after me and they'll come back for more. The system depends on your obedience. They'll kidnap you at your expense. So look around and tell me who's the criminal. Now shut your mouth and get the fuck up against the wall. You're guilty till you prove you get paid. They'll tell you murder is a felony, then do it round the whole world with impunity. Behind that badge is just a man who needs to stop and think about the impudent hypocrisy. It's never too late to live free. Respect your fellow man, authority be damned. A victimless crime spree is outside your door. They'll come after me and they'll come back for more. The system depends on your obedience. They'll kidnap you at your expense. What you want, smoke what you want, your life is all your own. Who has the right, a claim on your life that's higher than your own? Sell what you want, smoke what you want, your life is all your own. Who has the right, a claim on your life that's higher than your own? A victimless crime spree is right outside your door. They'll come after me and they'll come back for war. The system depends on your obedience. They'll kidnap you at your expense. Don't look around and tell me who's the criminal.
Holy shit, that was awesome. Your song rocks, man. So that really lit up the chat room. People are excited about it. That was their first listen to a lot of them. They're saying, oh, god damn, this is so good. And can I use this song with proper attribution? And this song is awesome. This is so great. It's catchy. What do we got? Yeah, so what about that first question? Can I use this song with proper attribution? What do you think about that? Does he license his songs or is he anti-IP?
No, I don't. I mean, like I was saying before we went on the air, I mean, I stole the title from you in the first place, so I assume you'd be cool with that. No, I'm totally, whoever wants to use it for whatever, that's fine. I mean, if, Sony put a movie or something, I might be like, hey, wait a second, but,
Yeah. Hey, someone says you look like a young John Cusack. Do you get that a lot?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever got that before, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Where do you record? I see a microphone behind you. You record here at your home studio?
I do demos and stuff here. I was recording something earlier, but I don't know, not this album. We did in like a real studio for once.
It sounds so awesome. How long has your band been around?
About, I want to say 3 years. We put out an EP before this called 10 Peso Version that came out like at the end of 2013, and this is our first full-length album.
I dig it. And do you have an official website? I know you've got this Facebook page, which I have liked, and if you really like them, you can hover over the like button and click Get Notifications. That way you will always know what Warehouse 1 is up to. They posted a cool picture of themselves hanging out. They've got a couple other songs that you can listen to. And, of course, their album is going to drop in just a couple of days. You can get it on iTunes.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have a site, warehouse1music.com, but it's pretty sparse at this point. There's not a lot going on there. So Facebook
pages are good for music anyway. That's where the people are. That's where you can put your updates. And go and buy this album, guys. Because, yeah, look, he's anti-IP, and he's going to let you use it with proper attribution, but you should totally buy it and support him for being awesome, because how many artists would do that and say that?
There's not very many. It'll also be on Spotify eventually, too, so it's a little bit more convenient for some people.
Do you get some kickback on that?
I think it's like a fraction of a cent per play or something like that.
What was the whole thing about Taylor Swift and like Spotify? She was like, "Oh, I'm not going to be on it because they're bad for artists." You agree?
Yeah,
with that?
They don't like the payout that they do. I guess I mean it's probably her label that's telling her that, because once there's so many people involved, everyone's taking a piece of that penny or whatever, and it turns it's not really worth it, I guess, for T Swift. But we're not trying to get rich off it or anything, so not a big deal.
Who are the other members of your team? Warehouse 1.
Seth, Steve, Mobes, and Sean, but they're all, they've got, most of them are, we're on the West Coast, so a lot of them are still coming home from work right now and stuff. So.
Who wrote Victimless Crime Spree?
What about it?
Who wrote Victimless Crime Spree?
I wrote that song. I found out about your documentary listening to Mark Stevens. Like most people trying to beat a speeding ticket is how I found out about him. And then after listening to his podcast enough times, he'd mentioned
Jack from Warehouse 1. Go pick up his album in a couple days. Wow, Jack, that was awesome. Thanks so much for being on. That was a real blast.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I loved it. And thanks for making that song. I can't wait. I know there's going to be some music videos and some things that people make for that thing, so it's going to be awesome. Thanks so much. Light it up. I will buy it.
All right. Thanks.
Peace, man.
Yeah.
All right, listeners. So next up, we have a very special guest for you. We have next in line, it's James Cleveland, who will be joining us via Google Hangouts, so you'll see him. He is known as Robin Hood of Keene. And again, if you're enjoying this program, go and kick some Bitcoin over to this QR code. James Cleveland, of course, known as Robin Hood of Keene, but he's facing pretty harsh penalties. He's facing up to 2 years in jail for recording the police. I'm going to ask him about that when he comes back.
At 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population. of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
The federal government would like to remind you that while some will tell you to think for yourself, this is not necessary, as we have taken care of this for you. Simply pledge allegiance to those who keep you safe and avoid dangerous behavior, worst of which, questioning authority. How long do you want to live in blissful ignorance while each day the state assumes more power over you and your stuff? Do you remember signing off on that? Or do you accept it because it is what it is? I'm sure it feels real nice to tune out, hang out the mall with your BFFs, and if you have a problem, just vote for the other power-hungry political party for your solutions. I don't have the luxury because one day I found something out. I own myself. And you know what useful thing is in there? My brain! The state can keep trying to tell you what to do from the barrel of the gun, but it's up to you to decide who controls your thoughts. Free your mind from the status quo. It's the first step towards reclaiming your liberty. Well, you got us there. Listen to Cody O'Connor's Off the Air Live every Thursday and Saturday night at 10 Eastern. It's dangerous, hilarious, and live on LRN.FM.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. It is Peace News, and soon James Cleveland will be joining us. You know, he runs a business here in Keene, 101 Deals thrift store. It's kind of revolutionary in the sense that I believe it is truly the best thrift store in the world. Yes, it's true. You know, they sell things online as well as in store. They're figuring out. They're all freedom people. And, you know, that's a real way to make freedom happen, is to incentivize it, to reward people for their labor. You know, so many people who want to move to New Hampshire, there's like, I can't do it because I don't know, you know, what kind of job I'm going to get. These people who create jobs are the real heroes. Now, James, of course, is known for his role as Robin Hood. A lot of people have seen the images of him wearing his hat. He was on the Colbert Report shooting a little Robin Hood bow and arrow, and a lot of people made fun of that. But, you know, I think for those of you who don't know, Robin Hooding is going around town feeding expired parking meters. And this is the website that explains a little bit about Robin Hood. Let's learn about him.
Robin Hood is a heroic outlaw in English folklore. He was a highly skilled archer and swordsman, and often used cleverness and wit to outsmart Prince John and the Sheriff of Nottingham. He has become known for robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. However, Robin Hood was actually stealing from an oppressive government that had taxed its citizens into poverty. He was simply returning the wealth back to its rightful owners.
Well, greetings from your friendly neighborhood tax collector. Prince John says that taxes should hurt. Taxes, taxes, taxes. Why, he taxed the heart and soul out of the poor people of Nottingham. If you couldn't pay your taxes, you went to jail. You thieving scoundrel! Now take it easy, Friar. I'm just doing my duty.
You're not harming anybody.
Yes, you are. You're stealing money. Your job is to steal money.
Collected taxes for that arrogant, greedy, ruthless, no good Prince John?
A modern form of Robin Hooding has once again begun in Keene. Liberty activists are attempting to save the townspeople of Keene from the oppressive parking tariff by paying the meters before parking enforcement officers can write a ticket on the expired meter.
Womp, womp, womp. So that is Robin Hooding, for those of you who didn't know. And, you know, James really amped up here. How do I get that off the screen? Trying to do a screen share here and contact a few of my guests. So James is like, oh, I'm having some difficulties right now. You know, I got to handle the business. And that comes first. You know, you got to make money first. Activism, you know, it's cool that he's mixed his activism with making money, because like so many people will burn out from doing activism. You go balls to the wall and then get arrested a bunch of times. And how do you know, keep going? Well, if you're making money, it's a lot easier to keep going. He was arrested recently for recording the police in an incident where it was the first time that the police were in Keene had used the Bearcat, which is the armored attack truck, the ballistic engineered armored counterattack vehicle or whatever. So, hey, it looks like James is joining us right now. James, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. And how you doing?
Hey, great. How are you?
I'm great. I was just telling the story about how you were arrested outside of the McDonald's here in Keene when the police were using their Bearcat to protect someone who was about to harm himself. They really, I don't know, maybe you could tell it better. What was going on that day?
Oh, well, apparently a gentleman was holding himself hostage, so I guess the correct response was to show up and point guns at him, and, you know, like that really de-escalated things, but no, but I was arrested. So basically I showed up. I didn't know what was going on. The Bearcat was there, the SWAT team was there. I thought it was some kind of hostage situation, but I didn't know.
Yeah, that's what we were told. We were told it was a hostage situation, and you were there with a video camera. You were arrested, and you were found guilty at your latest trial. So when's your sentencing?
Oh, my sentencing is February 10th. So.
And you're guilty of both disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, right?
That's correct. And they had filed disorderly conduct under 2 theories. So the disorderly conduct is written in such a way. I mean, it's like a long statute, so it's like we're not sure which one he did, but he did one of the 2. So it's like he violated it somehow, which is what I interpreted them filing it as 2 theories. Judge Burke said, well, you know, he violated this one. I don't remember which one, but
so
it's
they
funny.
The judge to choose, like, which one did he violate? Here's a bunch of laws. Maybe he broke one. What do you think, Judge?
Pretty much. I mean, that's what they did, and I mean.
What do your parents think about this?
Oh, they're not happy, of course, but I mean, anytime you, I guess, do something, you know, you're going to have issues, perhaps. If you deal with the police, eventually you could be arrested. You know, it's just an unfortunate truth in our society. But
well, you're a hero of mine for the things that you do. You came to Keene first as part of the Free State Project because you heard that there were people, you know, moving here for more freedom. And you got active right away with Robin Hood, and I was telling that story. I shared a video before you got here. And you really amped things up. You know, everyone had done a little bit of Robin Hooding in their time. All the activists in Keene fed meters. But you really changed things. How was that?
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's my claim to fame, if you will. My goal was to, I don't know, I guess build the activity to a point where I wanted it being done 6 days a week, you know, having someone out there trying to save people for parking tickets. They enforce here in Keene 6 days a week. So it was like, you know, how can I bring together the right people and resources to try to make sure that, obviously we're not going to stop all the parking tickets, but let's at least try to make a big impact in their numbers. And I don't think parking hurts anyone else. I don't think it should be a criminal act, and I feel like it's a government-created problem. The city has been managing parking for 60 years. They have no incentive to fix it. Actually, they have a perverse incentive to keep it the way it is. They've tried to turn it into a money-generating scam, but like almost everything else the government does, they even do that poorly because For the last 3 years, they've managed to lose money on it, even without Robin Hooding. You know.
Now, catch us up to what's going on with Robin Hooding now. It went to the Supreme Court. You guys were taken to court on civil suits, and that's up in the Supreme Court. What's going on with that? We just waiting to hear back now?
Yes. So the arguments have been given by both parties. The Supreme Court, who knows how long it will take? You know, they'll at some point, I guess, reach a decision.
And I was telling the story about your new business in Keene, which I think is heroic. I want to see more people moving to New Hampshire and starting businesses. It's a great business environment. So talk a little bit about what's going on with 101 Deals Thrift Store.
Sure. So that's my latest, I guess, endeavor in life. You know, I started a business. This will be, I guess, the third serious business I've run in my life. So, I mean, it's nice to, I guess, work for yourself, if you will, and actually, like, I feel like I'm doing something productive. My last business, I was doing taxes, which, talk about complete misery. I mean, I am an accountant. I felt like I was providing no value with that activity. I mean, at least with this business, I feel like I'm providing a valuable service. My first business was like lawn care, landscaping, so I guess that was somewhat valuable.
And now, how is this different? I mean, you're encountering bureaucrats who have told you, hey, you can't have that sign. You need a permit to have a sign. And it can't be on the side of the building. It has to only be on the front. I mean, you run into all these roadblocks, and how do you deal with that?
It's like every other business owner, you just struggle through it. It's kind of funny because if you watch videos about like small business people, like on YouTube or whatever, that's a constant problem they have. Like, oh, I read all the codes and I went down to the office and they slammed me with all this other crap I didn't know about. You know, and it cost me a lot more than I thought it would. But
well, 101 Deals Thrift Store is the business. You can check it out on Facebook. Click like. Also, robinhood.freekeene.com.
Yep.
Thanks, James Cleveland.
Hey, thank you.
Cool. Hey, man, thanks so much for joining me. That was great.
Oh, no problem. It was fun.
You are terrific. You are really a superhero activist, and I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing. Thanks so much for being on. Hey, Turbo!
Turbo is
How you doing, buddy?
My seat. I don't know if you could hear that.
No, I couldn't hear him at all. But he looks great. I'm going to bring Rich Paul in here next. So thanks so much for being on.
Hey, thank you.
Cheers.
Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Peace.
I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free.
Check, 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 check. 1, 2, check 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check, 1, 2, yeah.
LRN.FM from any phone, anywhere. Add this number to your phone. 213-493-0309. It's a long-distance call, so make sure you're familiar with your phone's calling plan. The Liberty Radio Network listen lines are locked into our stream 24 hours a day. Call 213-493-0309. That's 213-493-0309. When I found the Free State Project, I knew it was the key to achieving liberty in my lifetime. It's awesome to be surrounded by like-minded, freedom-loving activists who've moved here to New Hampshire. From politics to civil disobedience, we have it all. Where I came from, it felt that no matter what I did, liberty was dying. Perhaps you feel the same way? Call 888-377-2515 now to learn more about the Free State Project. That's 888-377-2515 or visit freestateproject.org. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phones, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.lrn.fm. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit the Liberty Radio Network when you shop at Amazon via shop.lrn.fm.
Attention! Have you been in a serious automobile accident? Then you need to call our attorneys now. We specialize in helping our clients get compensated for major auto injuries. If you've been in any type of car or motorcycle accident and you've been seriously injured, you may be entitled to significant financial...
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Everything the government says is a lie, and everything the government has, it has stolen.
It's true. Is that a quote or is that you?
That's Nietzsche.
Really?
Yes, isn't that amazing?
I didn't know that.
I learned that from Jason Talley. Thanks, Jason Talley. Jason Talley is also the man behind the naming of my movie, Victimless Crime Spree. That was his suggestion.
Really?
Yes.
Well, groovy.
I know. Very cool. Here we go.
Participating member law firms. We are not an attorney.
You need a drink or
referral
anything?
service.
You need water?
Representation may not be...
All right.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Welcome back. It's Peace News. And sitting in studio here in Keene, New Hampshire, it's Rich Paul. Hey, Rich Paul. How you doing?
All right. How you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm so happy. I'm so glad you're here. You're one of the inspirations that brought me here. It was actually one of your videos that I have prepared for some of the listeners. If they aren't familiar with who you are, take a listen if you're listening, and take a watch if you're watching over at peacenewsnow.com/live. Oh, now we're having a little loading problem. Here we go. September 29th, 2009. There were bongos. There were people smoking cannabis. And there were police.
Revenue today, gentlemen?
Good. How about you?
We love you guys. Now show us some love.
They look for something specific. I don't know. Am I looking for something? Yeah. No? All right.
Anybody got a light?
I do.
Oh, man, I wish I did. Nobody ever has a lighter when you need one.
Now that's all those juggalos saying whoop whoop, but it's perfect because there's a bunch of cops and they're rolling in. You can see it on their faces what they're right about to do.
Go ahead. As long as you're peaceful. Go ahead.
Oh no. So here's Rich Paul. He's being surrounded by police. He's taking his megaphone off and Bruce Uhas is taking your arms behind your back. Oh man, he doesn't look very proud about it either.
No, he really doesn't. I, on the other hand, I didn't know whether to shit or go blind with the response to this arrest, you know. It's like, finally somebody's irritated about this stuff. Yes.
Man, this is so cool. I mean, it's not cool that you're being arrested, but look at you, so composed, so calm and collected. Here I am, doing my thing. Look at all these coppers.
Yeah. There's more, the great bicycle band.
And then people chanting freedom out in Central Square.
Yeah, and most of these people are locals. They're not even free staters.
Wow.
The free staters are all taking pictures.
Oh, man. So cool. Oh, what were you thinking at this moment? You're in the back of the police car, and you're thinking what?
Well, I'm thinking that went perfectly.
That went perfectly.
Actually,
What?
Well, you know, I'd expected to get arrested.
All right.
And I'd been expecting expecting to get arrested for a long time. The weird thing about the way I did civil disobedience is instead of calling the police in advance and telling him I was doing it, I just started doing it in the square and telling my friends about it. So, which is how we ended up with all these people out here. And so, you know, I had been expecting for a long time to get arrested, and I was surprised that I'd made it as long as I did before they finally noticed me or noticed us and came out and did their thing.
What's really cool about that strategy, Rich, is I know that Andrew Carroll had done some civil disobedience where he announced that he was going to be holding some cannabis out by Railroad Square or whatever. And that got him arrested, got some media attention, was very cool. But then the difference between that and yours was the numbers. The numbers made a difference.
Oh, yeah. The numbers always make a difference. And, you know, that was one of the reasons for letting it build up slowly and for actually smoking out there, because, you know, people like a party. You know? And
who doesn't love a party? And, you know, one of my first times coming to Keene, I was so inspired by what you'd done. I was amazed. I came from Philadelphia, and I knew that if I smoked a joint in a park, I was going to be arrested. There's no question. I mean, people might look at me funny or something, and maybe I'll get away with it once or twice. But if a cop saw me, I'll bet I was going to be arrested. So when I came to Keene, the weight was lifted off of my shoulders. I went right to Central Square. I smoked a joint by myself. I had no one around that was protecting me or anything, and nothing happened. And it was the most freeing experience I think I had ever felt up to that point.
Yeah.
Thank you for carving that path, Rich.
Well, thank you. And that has been a great feeling, you know, being able, especially when we were doing the nightcaps, we'd be out on the square, we'd be drinking beer and smoking joints, and the cops would be driving by and we'd be toasting them with our beers and saying, come, have a drink with us. And they never would. But, you know,
why not?
But they didn't stop.
Don't you think, did they ever come close? Like at my dance party, the Live For Your dance party, we invited them, hey, come dance with us. They never even come close to interacting with the activists, do they?
Yeah, well, I mean, they would just keep driving right by the Central Square. They didn't want to engage with us at all. They didn't even want to stop their cars.
Do you think they felt defeated, or were they pissed off, or did they just ignore you guys? Like, I don't even care what's going on there.
I don't know. I think a lot of cops agree with us that the war on drugs is a waste of time and money. And so I picked up a certain level of sympathy with the cops I dealt with. And one of the turning points in the rally was a day when they tried to dispatch a cop to the 420 rally, and we have a recording of the conversation over the radio. And basically, this cop said, because, you know, it had been a loud, angry rally up till that point. And the cop said, well, our presence there is what's causing the problems. And he refused to go, and we never had cops there again.
They internalized that they are the problem, and we're going to leave these people, and will happen.
Exactly.
Now, I want to turn our attention to 420 on 420, 2010. Here's another iconic video. This happened in Concord, New Hampshire. And we see here, this is the State House in Concord. Now, were you present for this event? And what was your participation in it?
This is 2010, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I was here for this one. This would have been so I would have organized this rally. This would be the first annual 420 rally at the State House. The 420 rally in Keene started late in 2009. And I think that's me that's me. Brown leather jacket.
And you've got all these shirts, the 420 Every Day, Town Central Square. What was that about?
Well, I printed 100 of those, and I sold them at the rallies. And I still have people ask me for those shirts.
What are you guys burning?
You know, I wasn't a part of that, so I don't know what they burned.
All right, I want to skip to another part. This is 420 in the video. Probably no accident.
Well, I mean, anyone can walk
That's
through
a
the
conversation
crowd,
with a
smell this-
local cop.
smell of cannabis wafting over in this general vicinity.
And there you are, appearing to be enjoying some cannabis. Is this one of the events where you gave your iconic "smoke 'em if you got 'em" speeches?
Yeah, I believe I did.
Well, I can't find that part in the video, but we all know. What's the thing that you say for before the people light up? I mean, how did that even start? You have a phrase that you say during the 420s.
Basically, I wanted to say something to establish that there was a political purpose to the event, that there was a larger issue than just getting high, that there was an issue of the proper role of government. And I wanted to kind of establish an idea of not fearing the cops. So what I came up with was, we smoke these in remembrance of lost liberties and in hope for a day when the people don't fear the government because the government fears the people. Smoke them if you got them.
Yes. I love that phrase.
Of course, now that I've said that, we have to smoke a bowl, or it's like, pulling out a samurai sword and putting it away unblooded.
We will make sure that happens.
Okay, we'll
during
do that.
The break.
We'll do that off screen. We'll hide.
But yeah, that's right. That's right. Because you now you have faced 81 years courageously. I don't know if it's even over 100 years. You faced some pretty serious jail time for your activism, and you decided to not take a plea deal when you were offered 0 days in jail.
It's true. It would have been 0 days in jail plus 3 years of probation, but yeah, I didn't take the plea. I really wanted to expose what the FBI's misconduct in my case.
That's balls, man. That's serious balls. Thanks so much. You're a hero.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for being on. This is Peace News. We'll be right back. We've got more guests coming up.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement, and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know that you can listen to LRN.FM
24/7
free-to-air satellite channel? From Mexico to Canada, our signal covers nearly all of North America. All you need is a view of the southern sky, an affordable receiver, and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly...
Hey, can you hear me? Testing, testing. Paging Dr. Ademo. Can you hear me? I don't hear you or see you yet. I see a picture of you. Looks pretty good. You look a little mad, but I'll take it. I don't know what I have to do. Maybe I'll communicate with you via Facebook.
Better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated. So send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
More Peace News Now is coming up next, live after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates, online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Monday, January 26, 2015. Gold is trading at $1,295. Silver at $18.32. And Bitcoin is trading around $282.71. Today's Bitcoin price is brought to you by ExpressCoin, the fastest, most reliable way to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin today at expresscoin.com. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by WatchMyBit.com, the first ever micropayment-based video service. If you're a content creator, visit WatchMyBit.com to learn how you can use Bitcoin to generate revenue for your art. That's WatchMyBit.com. In the news, WikiLeaks is demanding answers after Google recently revealed they handed over emails and data from employees of the journalistic outfit to the U.S. government. The information was part of a secret search warrant issued in March 2012, and Google was bound by a gag order from revealing the request. Now, WikiLeaks lawyer Michael Ratner of the Center for Constitutional Rights is asking Google's executive chairman to detail what materials were given to the FBI and whether or not the company challenged the warrant. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks founder and editor-in-chief, said the actions by the FBI were part of a larger conspiracy case against him and his staff.
If I thought it would save an American life, I'd do things far worse than anything that made it into that report. Go through somebody's knee.
That's what Michael, an anonymous former military contractor, told the anti-media in a recent interview. The former contractor discussed his role in torturing suspected terrorists in the Middle East. Michael says the recent Senate report on the use of torture is giving soldiers a bad name. He goes on to admit to participating in waterboarding, sleep deprivation, and beatings of detainees. For more on this exclusive interview, visit theantimedia.org. The public feud between police accountability activists and the Arlington, Texas Police Department continues, as two members of Texas Cop Block were arrested Saturday afternoon for exercising their First and Second Amendment rights simultaneously. Officers can be seen warning activists to put all weapons, including their openly carried black powder pistols, back into their vehicles while they film the police, or they would be subject to arrest. Two activists did not comply to their orders and were arrested for disorderly conduct and interfering with police business. They were bailed out in a matter of hours. Your job, your home, your car, your money. All of these things provide you with a sense of security. What about your family security? What have you done to prepare if all of these things were suddenly gone? eFoods Direct has the food security you need. For every emergency, eFoods Direct is food security. Go to efoodsdirect.com/LibertyBeat or call
Hey, I hear you.
620-5520.
I hear you now. It sounds very choppy, however. Are you on Wi-Fi or cell coverage?
Wi-Fi. Let me close out some windows. I don't know.
Yeah, close out some windows. See if that makes a difference. Hey, do you have Skype? Because Skype usually sounds pretty good.
I don't have it on here because I have a lame on this computer. So I could like download it fast and then boot it up. But how much time we got?
It's cool. We got 2.5 minutes. And if you need me to riff for the first little minute or so, that's cool too. I can do it. I'll play a little.
I don't know if you know like Ubuntu and shit. Sometimes these installs can go Linux.
I'm using Linux. I'm using Ubuntu to connect on Skype, so it does work. Works.
Sometimes your installs can be a little longer than like Windows. That's all I said. We can do it.
Just do it. Just do it. It'll sound good. Or actually, let's just try bouncing out and bounce back in. Maybe that'll make a difference.
Hang up back.
Yeah, because it sounds way too choppy right now.
Alright, how do I get out of here?
I'll kick you out.
Yeah.
How do I get out of here?
Liberty Beat is brought to you by Midas Resources Incorporated, helping clients convert their paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver. Get their 10 Reasons book free by calling 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237. Support also comes from The Corey Moore Show, live each Friday night at 10 o'clock Eastern. Hot topics from a unique Liberty perspective. Catch it at CoreyMooreShow.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Monday, January 26, 2015. I'm Brian Hagan, reporting, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. It's really not pretty that little kids mind the recite this anthem This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids. Now come and get your Ritalin.
Yo, welcome back. This is hour number 2 of Peace News. We're live this Tuesday, January 27th, 2015, and it is the final episode. You can call in and say goodbye. The number is 443-424-8347 or Skype Peace News Now. In fact, what we're doing right now is trying to get one of our guests connected over Skype. He's using Linux, which makes it a little more difficult to do some things sometimes, but he's very exciting. Ademo Freeman is the founder of copblock.org, a police accountability website founded in 2010 with his partner Pete Eyre. They did a tour around the country in a mobile home in an adventure called, what was it, Motorhome Diaries. And then I think even before that, they had another one, Liberty on Tour. Well, one of the two was first. But anyway, he's a very exciting guy because he's not afraid to hold a video camera up to police and ask them the tough questions like, where does your authority come from? And, you know, that can get him arrested sometimes. Sometimes he'll say no to the police when they tell him to stop recording. And that's gotten him arrested in places like Jackson, Mississippi, where he spent the day in jail, and had an outpouring of support from all of the people who love his website, copblock.org, and love his adventures. They want to follow him and say, they call up the police station and say, let this guy free. He hasn't hurt anyone. This is another person who helps us show that numbers make a difference. I want to do a screen for the Facebook page of copblock.org, which over at facebook.com, actually, I think it's at facebook.com/thecopblock. I'm not exactly positive. I'm going to look it up right now. But this Facebook page started off, I think, maybe just a year ago, had 30,000 likes on it. Now it has 1.4 million. You could tell he was at the forefront of this new movement of police accountability, recording police, maybe even had something to do with the fact that people are willing to pick up video cameras and record the police now. And you can see right on this page here, almost 1.5 million likes. Not bad. And, you know, they've got updates coming out every hour about what's going on in the world of police accountability and police abuse. It's really changing a lot of minds. So he's a hero of mine. And together we'll be working on a project that I hope we'll be able to announce together. I don't want to spill the beans and you know, let loose with anything that he wants to announce himself. But this is just so great. I mean, the memes at CopBlock are perfectly shareable. They get the police all upset. There's this blog called Police One where the police, it's like one of the biggest police blogs. And, you know, here's another one. This makes the police so, it really changes minds. Because one of the things about CopBlock is that it's so foreign to some people. Like, police are such heroes, put on a pedestal that they can never do any wrong. Even if they come to people's doors and shoot them, they shoot their dogs, and people still don't think that they belong in a cage or that they should face the same consequences as a regular mundane might face. And so I really applaud Ademo. Now, he's got a new website out, ademofreeman.com. So I want you to go make sure you bookmark, subscribe, whatever, because he's just back from a 30-day Facebook ban, which is like Facebook jail. They don't let you post. You know, he can type to his friends, but he can't post anything on Facebook. So, I mean, that really cripples a guy who once ran a Facebook page that reaches millions every month. And, you know, it's not just the people who like the page, but the reach of this Facebook page for one single post. Like, I'm looking at the Facebook page, I can see a little bit of behind the scenes. One single post reached 15 million people. I mean, that's huge. This is not something that you're going to hear much about on the mainstream news. In fact, there actually was one video where Megyn Kelly of Fox News reported on Cop Block with Bill O'Reilly, and I did a little bit of I did a little joke segment on that once for Peace News. But take a listen to this.
News show for 14 years running.
Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Kelly File segment tonight, spying on the police. In Arlington, Texas, a group called Cop Block, following police officers around, taping their interactions with the public. This is not illegal in Texas, but it is controversial.
Citizens patrolling for police officers who are patrolling the streets.
We go out and we try and film police activity and attempt to hold them accountable for their actions.
Joseph Ty and this man, who would only identify himself as Jose, are part of a network here in the Metroplex called Cop Block. They say they're providing a public service to help ensure that officers don't overstep their bounds.
We don't hate the police, quote unquote. We just want them to abide by the laws.
The officers are actually being followed. And a lot of times the officers, they don't have any idea who's following them. But it can certainly raise suspicion. You know, we want our officers to be safe.
With us now, the anchor of the Kelly File, seen immediately after the fact of Miss Megan. There's enough stress on police before these clowns chasing them around, because it distracts them.
You're riding down the road trying to do your job. Suddenly it's like, Paul Bunyan is after me.
Yeah, there's somebody with a camera in your face, Right, the guy with the beard, and he looks like a biker. But being a police officer, it requires a lot of patience. And I don't think people understand that. You got to deal with idiots like all day long. Right.
That feeling, although they gave a statement to us saying, we don't hate the cops. They're called Cop Block. And they say they're about accountability and a public service, and that they, if they catch a cop speeding or whatever, they want to, hold him to account the same way that they hold us to account. The problem is no one has hired them or really wants them to provide that service.
Yeah, nobody's asking
It's
for
like,
it.
the other thing is there's a question about how they feel about the police and where this could wind up. If you go to their website, it's all anti-cop. And they have one video posted called When You Should Shoot a Police Officer. So it doesn't sound like they really love the cops.
When you should shoot it.
One of the co-founders is named, hold on a second, I have it here. Ademo Freeman. He says he is a 2-time victim of the war on drugs.
Yeah, that means he got caught selling.
I've never heard a phrase quite that way.
I have to ask you real quick. In some municipalities, there are laws against this kind of stuff, right?
In all 50 states, this is legal.
Is that right?
It's the exception, not the rule, for this to be illegal. You're allowed to film the police as long as they're in a public place.
But if you interfere with them.
That's the key. Interfering with them performing their duties takes it to a different level. So if they can show you're really harassing them, or you're getting in between them and a suspect and so on, then you're in trouble. But if they're just filming you, forget about it. It's fine.
Boston is a first conviction of the Marathon Terrorism Act. What happened?
Isn't this crazy that the Fox News is saying, "Oh, are you serious that you can actually film police and that's not illegal?" Okay, it's the exception, not the rule. Oh my gosh, people are. And the other funny thing that Megyn Kelly says is that you have to deal with these idiots all day who are providing a service that you didn't even ask for. Gee, what does that sound like? Sounds like the police to me. Here's my report on what the Fox News unspun. Take a listen. Hey everyone, Derek J. Me here. I caught a clip this week of the O'Reilly factor on Fox talking about copblock.org, a police accountability website. Co-host Megyn Kelly said this about the group's founder, Ademo Freeman.
One of the co-founders is named, hold on a second, I have it here. Ademo Freeman. He says he is a 2-time victim of the war on drugs.
Yeah, that means he got caught selling.
I've never heard a phrase quite that way.
Are you a victim of the war on drugs? I think we all are, whether we've been directly affected by law enforcement or not. I've been arrested for holding a flower, cannabis. But you don't have to be arrested to be affected by the war on drugs. First, you're responsible for footing the bill, and the bill increases each year. Second, you're subject to a mistaken raid. There are 40,000 paramilitary raids on American homes each year, mostly SWAT teams breaking down doors and looking for illegal vegetation. In some tragic cases, the police don't always come to the right house. Third, you endure the unseen consequences of prohibition. How many life-saving medicines never went to market because doctors are prohibited from researching them? How many fuels weren't invented because of the ban on cannabis? You can't see these things because they were prevented from happening. But who knows what the world might look like if the war on drugs were ended? Most people have never been presented the idea that the war on drugs is really a war against peaceful people. It creates victims. Alcohol prohibition failed, and drug prohibition is failing for the same reasons today.
This is Peace
Humans
News.
Are meant to live free.
We'll be right back.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free book may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateurs.
Hey, and I want to let folks know that Ademo was here, and he was just having, it was just a technical thing that Google Hangouts wasn't letting him back in. I bounced him from here. Remember, I was like, oh, I'll kick you out, but then it wouldn't let him back in. So that really sucks. Sorry we weren't able to have him on. He's a real hero, and you can catch him every Wednesday night at LRN.FM. He is one of the new co-hosts of Cop Block Radio, and don't forget his website is copblock.org. Thanks.
A lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on joined the Free State Project and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. You can help by joining the AMP program for just $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com and getting perks. That's amp.freetalklive.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by our newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
If you want to move to the Free State and you're looking for some real estate.
Hey, Ademo, welcome back. Hi, and Michele 7 is here.
Oh, am I supposed to say something?
No, we're not live yet. I mean, we're on YouTube, but
It's not 11:20 yet, but I'm early.
You're a little early. Thank you for being here. I think I even said, like, to the minute, I was like, 11:17, if you click that link. That way we can pregame a little bit before we go on air.
I recognize that tie.
Yeah, I wore this because you gave it to me, Michele. Thank you.
I did. I had so much fun with you that evening, and we really have to get the photo of Ryan Shea, who's with one name.
Yes.
You know, he and Munib. I'm sorry, Munib, if I mispronounced your name. But anyway, yeah, they created one name, which has gone off like mad. And then John Mohan, and we took that fabulous photo out in front on like December 19th in front of the Bitcoin Center.
God, where is that photo? Is that on Twitter anywhere?
No, but Ryan Shea has it. He was taking really nice photos that evening, and he has a thing.
A thing? What, like an Instagram or something? What do you mean?
Well, like a Shutterfly or whatever those things are called where you log in. How's my sound? Do I sound okay?
You sound great. Are you talking through your phone?
No, I'm talking, let's see. I want to make sure I have my Yeti. I go to devices.
Oh, yeah. No, it sounds like you're using your Yeti. It sounds to me as if you are. But yes, you go to the little gear up at the top, settings, and then click the little microphone button and choose the one you want.
Yes, perfect.
I don't see any image of you, by the way, just so you know. I don't see any video, which is okay.
I'm black.
But, okay, good.
Here
we go.
For ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. It's Peace News, and Ademo Freeman of copblock.org did get in touch with us during the break. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties, but it's cool. You can catch him every Wednesday on LRN.FM. He hosts Cop Block Radio with me, so catch him tomorrow. Hey, for this segment, we've got the Bitcoin Belle on the line. You can tweet her at Bitcoin Belle. That's Belle, as in Southern Belle. Hey, Michele.
Hi, Derek J. You look so handsome.
Oh, don't I always? Thank you. Thank you for the awesome bow tie. You gave this to me, isn't it lovely?
I did.
So
I like.
happy.
Yeah, I know how you like to be tied up. Do you remember actually? Do you remember the silk bow tie I gave you like 4 years ago?
Yes. A silk bow tie. It was lovely. It was snatched off of a man on the street, right?
Yes, I did that.
That was so cool. I don't know what happened to that. You know, I went to jail, and I had this weird experience when I went to jail that I was just giving all my things away. I have a feeling it probably went with that, sadly.
Well, that's okay with me because I think it has a journey to take.
Yeah, that bow tie was the traveling bow tie. It's like the sisterhood of the traveling pants.
Absolutely.
Traveling bow tie. So you are a superhero activist. All of the guests today are superheroes of mine. You are hugely inspiring in your dedication to living free today. You're not waiting for freedom somewhere down the road in the future.
Well, that's like me saying I'm waiting to be a girl.
Right.
I mean, I don't understand. I'm waiting to be a girl. I'm waiting to be a redhead. I'm like, no, that's yeah, by definition.
Because people aren't willing to do the things that you do. I was telling this story on Freedom Fiends recently on the latest episode. Yes. So many people loved it because they were so taken aback. I mean, you're so courageous. Let me just well, maybe you could tell it better. Why don't you tell the folks what happened?
Well, it seems like you told kind of like combined two stories. Were you talking about when I was inside the overflow courtroom or when we were out in front to film?
Oh, no, when you were inside the courtroom. That's the story.
How did you hear about that? Just from me recounting it or someone else?
Tell me about that story.
Right, okay, so I had been in the overflow room on the first day of Ross Ulbricht's trial, which was a Tuesday, I believe. Pardon me. And initially I had tried to go into the main courtroom, but the judge was not going to have that because there were 90 potential jurors who they had to get through. Fine. So there was an overflow area, and people like Derek Brose was there, and I think Andy Greenberg was in there, a gal from Financial Times. There were like 6 or 8 of us in the morning session, and then the judge called for lunch. And we went out, but you know me, I get started talking to people, and I'm like, oh, la, 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 la. And I was so excited because I got 15 activists from all over the United States, the contiguous United States. I put together in like 4 days. Thank you, Roger Veer, for donating, and there were some other donations. But it was awesome. We had people from California, Texas, Florida, New Hampshire, Washington, D.C. It was just fantastic. And so I'm like, oh, my family. For me, this is like my Thanksgiving or whatever it is when people get together with their family. This was what it was for me. So I was so happy to be catching up. And I started talking over lunch and everything, and I didn't really eat. I just gabbed and, sold John Bush dollars and bought someone else's Bitcoin and, doing what we do, roll the joint, whatever. And I get back to the courthouse, and I have my soup from the little Thai restaurant that I haven't eaten yet, but it's soup. You can just sip it from the cup. I don't need a spoon. I don't need chopsticks. I can just sip it. I can even put the paper bag back down, and I'll be fine. And I go into the overflow room, knowing that I'm not going to be admitted into the main room. And I see that there are not 6 to 8 people there, where we're, casually talking to each other while the bailiff, just kind of watches us as we watch this large screen, and which I'm really impressed by because I don't have a television. So I'm like, wow, that's a big screen.
I got the impression it was a projector. They actually had a huge screen. Like, how big was it?
I don't know the difference between a projector and a screen, Derek. Remember?
Like, was it they pulled down
No.
Like
This
a
was a
TV,
screen.
Yeah,
This
like
was
if
a
you threw
flat screen.
baseball
This
at
isn't
it would break.
exactly. So
Okay.
I walk in, and it's just on the other side of the gallery. The gallery is the area where people sit in the pews, or that sort of thing. And then on the other side of that little low railing, not railing, but wall, and the swing door is where the screen is. Well, it's pitched in such a way and like angled in such a way that the whole room can see, and it's not straight on, it's to the side. And the bailiff's over as you walk in on the far left wall. And I see as I walk in that all of the seats are taken, and there are people standing along the wall all around, and there are people sitting on the floor. And I thought, you see how I dress? I'm not going to sit on the floor.
No.
No. I mean, I like to sit on the floor, but not on the floor there. I like to sit on the floor, of my own choosing. Like, I'll kneel at my man's feet, but I'm not going to sit the floor in a courthouse.
No.
So there I am, and I go walking in, and I don't want to be a bother, so I don't wait around too long. I just see that there are empty seats on the other side of the swinging door and the wall. So I go through, and I notice that there's Julia and John Bush are sitting in, they have seats, so of course I'm going to sit down. So I go through the swinging door.
.com and Brave the World.
Yes, absolutely. My heroes too. And I walk through and I sit down, and it's fabulous because it's an armchair. I'm going to be very comfortable. And, I'm kind of short. So when I sit back, I kind of have to scrunch down a little bit, and I do, and I cross one leg over. I'm very comfy. And I reach down into my bag, and I pull out my soup, and I'm looking at the screen, and I have a really great view, and I turn around and peruse the room and notice that I'm not taking anyone's view. They're like going, oh!
But that's perfectly courteous of you. You're looking around. It's not like you're the person in the movie theater with the big hat who just plops down right in front of somebody and doesn't give a care in the world about what's going on behind you. You look around, make sure you're being courteous, and then you do your thing, right?
Exactly. But I had entered the inner sanctum. I didn't realize that this room, I mean, we all know that the state acts like it's a religion, and they act like they're a church, and the judge is up there on the altar and what have you. But this was not a courtroom. This was an overflow room. It just happened to be a courtroom, but it was an overflow room. And so I didn't, think that the same rules applied, and I wanted to sit down like a civilized person in a seat. So there I was, and shortly thereafter, some gentleman dressed rather sharply comes over and sits down next to me, and I'm like, hello, and I introduce myself. And meanwhile, the judge is talking about the directions for how the proceedings are going to go, and they're going to have time to maybe call one witness. And I say to the gentleman, hello, how are you? Are you here? Are you with a magazine? He said, no, I'm with the prosecution, which all those people in there dressed so smartly were with the prosecution. I guess they were like subs or something like that.
Last 30 seconds.
So there I was, and as I started to eat my soup, the judge made an announcement that if you wanted to have water or coffee next to you, it was completely within your right to do so, and if you wanted to eat, by all have common sense, she said. So I said, amen, and I had my soup.
Amen, Michele. Bitcoin Bell on Twitter. Thanks, Michele.
Thanks, Derek.
What? You are so awesome, Michele. Thank you for being my heroine.
That was a fun story. I mean, the thing is, I didn't think anything of it at the time. I could see that it was like,
that's so you. I love it. That story is so you. I mean, we could have told a million stories like that. I mean, you going to jail for your registration and all that. I mean, you were just incredible. So I thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you
so much
for
on YouTube.
Thank you so much for doing this and including me in your final episode.
Oh, please. Yes. We had to do this because I will never forget the fear that was deep in my heart when I knew I was about to go live and I was tripping.
On acid?
I needed help doing that episode. I don't know.
Who are you going to call?
Who am I going to call? Oh, my God, Michele, help me out. You'll know what to do. And I had some things prepared. We read a poem together, or even I tried to read a little bit of it. I couldn't even get through it. You were so kind to just like read this material, and you helped the show go on. So thank you, Michele. You are truly a gem, and I appreciate you.
You're
People
so
should follow
welcome.
you on Twitter. Bitcoin.
I love you, Derek.
I love you too, Michele. All right. Well, I'm gonna get connected. Dale. Dale is next.
Speaking of, I can't wait to be on Flaming Freedom with you.
Ooh, it's gonna be spicy.
Bye.
Bye.
To tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Badati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Hello.
Hey, Dale. How are you?
Hi, Derek.
Hey, thanks for connecting with me. You sound good.
Cool.
You are over your phone right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I'm going to adjust some of your levels. Can you please count to 10 for me?
Are we on the air now?
No, we're on YouTube, but it's not really on the air. I mean, it will get recorded for the.
So I'm driving home from Concord.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I guess it's just snowy roads and everything.
Well, be safe, okay? You know, if you have to hang up and, you know, do your thing, it's cool. I just wanted to let the people know how we're going to do Flaming Freedom together, and isn't that going to be great?
Yes, yes.
All right, good. Well, we've got 30 seconds until we come back.
Okay. Do you want me to count to 10?
No, we're good. I adjusted your levels while you were away. Please hold, and I will return in just a moment.
Excerpt from his works and help convey his view along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com, advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
Am I on data? It's Skype? Skype?
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
And how much data do you use?
Here we are. We're back. It's Peace News, and it's our final episode. Joining us now, we have Dale Everett of Flaming Freedom, anarchyinyourhead.com, and many other projects. You can find him on YouTube. And he's one of the people who helped inspire me to move to New Hampshire because I saw this video, this YouTube video of a man speaking into his webcam, talking and holding a traffic ticket of some kind, explaining how statism is like a religion, and he doesn't share that religion, and he wasn't going to comply. And I thought that was so cool and so courageous and unlike anything I'd ever heard. It really blew my mind. And then I was like, and he's one of my people. He's gay. I can move up there and it will be safe for me. So welcome to the show, Dale Everett.
Thanks, Derek. I remember that video now that you mention it.
Yeah, wasn't that, that was really something. Is that still online? Do you have a YouTube channel that anyone can look up?
Yes, there's an Anarchy in Your Head channel that hasn't been very active for a while. I believe it's on there. And then there's also a Flaming Freedom YouTube channel, and I believe Flaming Freedom is under flamingfreedom.com, all spelled out. So DOTCOM.
Now, you've had your hand in a lot of different projects. When you first moved to New Hampshire, where did you land?
I believe I was in Manchester when I first moved here for a while, for about a year. And I think I moved to the Seacoast for about 6 months. And then I moved to Keene for a few years, and then I moved back to Manchester.
What did you like about Keene that you stayed here for years?
It feels it's got kind of a small town atmosphere, but it's still pretty active. It's still a small city, and so it had most of the amenities that I might want. But I did kind of like the small town feel, and it felt like you got to know people and got to know your neighbors and things like that. In the end, it was ultimately too small for me, though, just a little bit too small.
I hear you, man. So one of the other things that you did that I really liked were your cartoons, that I would see these cartoons with anarchy in your head. And I mean, I thought, to be honest, I mean, I know you have a large audience for these cartoons, but I thought it was like way bigger. I thought it was like on Cartoon Network or something. I thought like these were really big cartoons that everybody knew. And because it seemed like everybody knew them. Everyone I was interacting with knew Anarchy in Your Head. So tell me a little bit about how you created these comics and how that was your form of activism for a while.
Yeah, well, I think I just kind of got an idea, and it was during the Ron Paul campaign where I was poking fun at how he seemed like the only real Republican, right, at the time. And so I was calling the other candidates rhinos, and I drew them as rhinoceroses, right? And I drew Ron Paul as the elephant in the room that everyone was ignoring.
That's brilliant.
Right? So that was the idea, and I got really excited about that, and I spent a long time drawing it. The thing is, like, I never really felt fast drawing, so it was always a lot of work to do the cartoons, and I think that's probably an important talent to develop as a cartoonist. But I spent a lot of time drawing it, but I was really proud of it, and people liked it and started really encouraging me to do more. So I kind of was responding to, I guess, what felt like a market demand at the time.
And it still is, because one of the great things about cartoons is, well, first of all, you can capture an idea in a really small space. I mean, you can look at like a 4-panel comic or even a 1-panel comic and really get a whole lot out of it. It's dense. And they transport really well. So like you can send it to your friends. I mean, this was before Facebook was as big as it is now, where like memes are being shared every 5 seconds and you can post pictures here and there. So like this was huge. I mean, where were they mostly being posted? To forums and stuff, right?
Well, I don't know about Forbes.
No, forums.
I know that at one point I got posted to Lou Rockwell, and I got a ton of hits very suddenly.
Cool.
And that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that had to
like
be
a
exciting.
Lou Rockwell blog, not his website. So it was always a little bit of a struggle trying to get it out there. And you're right, there really wasn't Facebook at the time. That's something I got into later.
And you also started a program called Prometheus Unchained. And you asked me to be a part of it. It was a lot of fun. It was a podcast and a recorded video as well in the LRN.FM studios back in, oh gosh, what was it? The summer of 2011. And that was a lot of fun to be a part of. It morphed into a show called Flaming Freedom, which existed for years after. And that still is at flamingfreedom.com. But what's going on now, Dale?
Well, Flaming Freedom has been on hiatus, sort of indefinitely, but with the potential that it might come back. And I just couldn't head it up, with the number of things I'm doing right now, and not just activism, but in my personal life, I just couldn't head it up and be the primary driver and steerer of the show. So there was the potential that Lauren might bring it back, but I think now it may come back. It might actually be coming back.
It is coming back. It's not a maybe.
Yes.
It's a definite.
Well, I feel like you should announce that because.
But it's like your show. I mean, we could both announce it. So that's it. That's the show. The show is coming back. That's why Peace News is ending, guys. I mean, this is the last episode. Dale and I are going to take on Flaming Freedom, and it's going to kick ass. And we're going to do it Thursday nights from 10 to midnight on LRN.FM. And we'll be at Liberty Forum. So we'll be hosting a live episode there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I want to get into a lot of sex talk. We'll be talking about sex, gay sex. It's so much fun.
That was always a thing. And did you? I can't recall. Did you explain to people what Flaming Freedom was all about?
No. Why don't you do that?
Okay. So there's a lot of libertarian content out there, and a lot of freedom activism content. But we got the notion that there was the segment for LGBT people who tend to be very liberal. It seems, or at least that's the stereotype, right?
Totally.
There didn't see. Yeah, we wanted to appeal to get the liberty message out to people who are LGBT, who really should be at the top of the list of people who would be interested in liberty, right?
You would think, but they're begging for the Supreme Court to let them get married. I'm like, why would you ask a group of strangers who you never cared about a day in your life, suddenly they're the ones who have a say over whether or not you can get married?
Yeah.
I mean, where does that come from? So, yeah, I know we can talk about, like, subjects that are in the news and give a LGBT liberty spin on them. But also, I'm just excited for the sex talk, honestly, because there's not a lot of that on LRN.FM either. I don't think there's any of that.
Well, that's the other thing. We kind of branched out into more personal issues of freedom that outside of just interactions with the government.
Yes.
And things like that.
And, like,
and how people look at in cultural freedom, right? The notions, there are pressures that people put on each other in the culture and in societies that are completely outside of the law that I felt like are worth addressing, and notions about relationships and sex and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Taboos. These are all
exactly.
things that infringe on your freedom, right?
Yes, they do. And it's like a personal limitation. Like, people are afraid to talk about their taboos or their fetishes. Sex talk is like, it's something that's diminished. And it's a huge part of our freedom, our human experience. And I just want to celebrate that. I want to bust it out, bring it out into the open. I thought it was fun. We did some shirtless episodes together. We should bring that back.
Yeah. I'm in better shape than I was then too. So
I am too. So we'll both be out there. Although
I'll feel better about it this
I'm
time.
still gonna blind the audience with my pasty white skin. We'll have to find some workaround for that. Maybe I'll find some filter for the camera. But
yeah, there you go. I need it too. I'm desperately Caucasian.
We're gonna look pretty tan. So what are the websites that people need to follow? They need to go to facebook.com/flamingfreedom and like that page. Click over the like button and click get notifications so you see every update we make. And also flamingfreedom.com.
Scroll over like and drop down the menu has get notifications. You definitely need that. And then also Anarchy in Your Head has been really inactive for a long time, but I'm kind of bringing it back. You know, I just did a comic recently that I liked. And I'm still doing it as I get inspiration and not on a schedule.
It's Dale Everett. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, Dale, that was awesome. You are so great. I can't wait to do a show together. We're going to have a blast.
And I did it while driving. My passenger's nervous.
Ooh! Well, I'll never
let
tell.
Yeah.
We won't let the audience know. Hey.
Is there anyone in? I don't think there is.
Well, I will hang up from you now, but you are terrific. I'm glad you didn't get in an accident. Drive safely. We love you, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you on Thursday. We're going to do a practice episode. Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Buckle your seatbelt.
I have enough ideas for, like, after the practice for longer shows, too.
Oh, me too. We've got a lot of show material to get through. It's going to be a good couple of months coming up.
All right, cool.
All right, smooches. Mwah. Oh, that's Dale Everett. He's terrific. Next up, we'll be joined by Allie Havens of alliehavens.com. You may know her from ALP, a program that was on LRN.FM live for a few weeks or years. I don't know how long she was doing it. We'll ask her. And also, we lived together at the Adam Kokesh compound in Virginia. That was a lot of fun. And she actually is my final guest because she was the first guest. I wonder, during the break, I'm going to see if I can pull up that first episode. I wonder if it's even out there.
You should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Shiny badges on your jacket, shiny badges.
This is Davi Barker from ShinyBadges.com, and I just want to personally apologize for airing a jingle.
Like that, it's just that, well, it's just that I don't seem to remember who I am. Well, it's a real oddball thing, but when I woke up this morning,
Wow.
Well, I didn't exactly wake up. I just found myself out on that road walking.
This is... Yo, Allie!
Hey!
How's it going? I actually, right now, I am listening to the very first episode of Peace News that was ever recorded. I just pulled it up. This is the intro music to Peace News Now. Drop in and opt out. Right, that was the tagline. Hello and welcome. My name is Derek J. I'm the host of Peace News Now. Drop in and opt out.
It had never existed
The mission of
before.
Peace News Now is to empower listeners to affirm their self-ownership and to confront coercion in all of its forms.
Fuck yeah.
I'm very happy to be with you today. This is the first ever episode of Peace News Now, which makes it pretty monumental. I'm really glad you're listening.
my big
This
head.
is starting off
Oh, it's
as
so
a weekly
monumental.
show. Today is Monday, November 5th. Remember, the 5th of November, 2012. Today, I'm going to be having on a very special guest, an in-studio guest, Miss Allie Havens of AllieHavens.com. She'll be chatting with us.
Wow,
later
you already
about
had your
some current
website back
events,
then.
But
That's
I wanted
amazing.
to make sure I
been
introduce
going.
the show, let folks know the goal is going to be...
Oh, we're back.
Sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network.
You ready to go?
Our
Give me a check 1 2. Check 1 2. Oh, you're muted. Crap. I don't hear you. Uh-oh. Oh, there I hear you now.
Okay, good.
Welcome back. It is Peace News, and it is our final segment of the final episode. Here we are at LRN.FM. Oh my gosh, so much fun. During the break, I was just listening to the first ever episode of Peace News, which honestly haven't listened to in over 2 years. It was the 5th of November, 2012, and we were recording that segment in my room in Adam Kokesh's house in Herndon, Virginia, back in the day.
Oh.
Allie, you were there, and I was speaking into a Blue Yeti microphone. It was very different from the one I'm using today. It was pre-recorded, not live, and I don't know. I want to listen to a little more of it. Is that cool with you?
I would love to listen to more.
Yeah, here it is.
Talking about news events. It'll be an hour-long podcast that you can check out on a weekly basis this November. And then come December, it will start out as a 5-day-a-week show, Monday through Friday, broadcast on...
Blah, blah, blah. Here, let's
I'm sure
skip
our
to the
listeners
center.
will
Let's
get to
see.
check out
Let's see. I want to
Adam
hear
versus
you.
The Man
Me too.
newscast.
Yeah, we were working on the Adam versus the Man newscast. That's what we were talking about.
AdamVersusTheMan.com. But I also wanted to talk about some of the other projects that you work on, Allie. You were working in a writing capacity with Adam versus the Man. You're also doing the podcast. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, and these a week do you do the podcast?
We do the podcast 5 days a week.
Oh, you sound good. You sound better than me.
So far, most of the times I've been on, well, I guess we've been doing, election coverage, watching debates, and
I sound so complainy.
That's very casual because, it's like going over to having a party, watching the debates, and we imbibe different substances, and it's a fun sort of atmosphere where you're being recorded, and so there's a record of your comments about what's going on, but it's there's not a whole lot of pressure involved.
No pressure at all. Well, I'm going to cut that for a little bit and just bring you on. Hey, Allie, good to have you with us. How's it going?
Everything is going great, Derek. I'm here in Manchester, and there's a snow emergency, so I've been cooped up all day, so it's nice to get to be social.
Snow emergency! Shut everything down! There's snow on the ground! It's so stupid. I mean, Massachusetts, they actually shut down the roads and everything. The governor was like, nobody can drive. But in New Hampshire, we don't do that.
Yep.
How's it looking out where you are? Are the roads clear, or is it still snowing? What's going on? Oh no, I don't know if I lost you.
Manchester, there's
You're back, sorry.
crazy Oh, okay.
So it's crazy?
What's crazy is the way they handle parking. It's different than in Keene. There's this odd even parking ordinance thing that's very confusing, and I don't know how visitors are supposed to know, but they give out, in Keene, parking tickets were like $5 usually. Here,
Yeah.
$25 for being parked on the wrong side of the road, depending on what day of the week it is, and odd even sides of the road, depending on like the house numbers. So
That is so confusing. I mean, what an unfriendly way to deal with. So they just hand out a bunch of tickets, pretty much. No one can follow the rules, and they just collect a bunch of money every time they have a snowstorm.
Well, yeah, I live in a apartment complex, and it's not obvious that it's not obvious that my apartment complex is a city road. So every day I see new tickets. You know, people like don't seem to all know. If you went to go park on the side of the street and you notice that no cars are on one side, but all the cars are parked on the other side, you would probably conform and park on the other side because there must be a reason, right? But it's all mixed up. Like no one seems to know the rules. No one even thinks probably that the rules apply to the street. And so like half the cars get parking tickets. So I made a little notice that I just basically copied and pasted the ordinance onto like a piece of paper, and then I printed a calendar for like the rest of the months that the ordinance is going to be in effect, and like highlighted every other day just to be like, look at your phone. If you parked on the side of the street, then like make sure it's the right day, because otherwise you're going to get a $25 ticket.
It's so petty. Like, part of me says, like, there should be an activist to make an app to tell people what side of the road to be on, but then the other part of me is like, that's so stupid and pointless. Yeah. Like, why would you waste your time? Well, so you've done a lot of different projects.
Yeah, exactly.
You were on Free Talk Live, which is huge. I know you came to New Hampshire having already listened to Free Talk Live, and then it's sort of like this big thing. Like, then you get to be on it. It's so crazy. Like, how, you know, it's another world. And then you did your own program. You had ALP. You were on a local TV show in Keene, Free Keene TV. You were the anchor for that program for, like, what, 2 years?
Correct.
Crazy. And so, like, what are you working on right now? What's your latest project? What are you doing?
Oh, well, let's see. So, lately, it's just been
Don't
whatever.
you do my own School Sucks podcast sometimes with Brett?
Yeah, sometimes I might be on School Sucks project. I usually kind of influence it behind the scenes. Like, I tell him, like, you should cover this. Brett does series, so, you know, sometimes he'll go over a topic in the first show and be like, you should really, you know, go over this more in depth. So it's more of a behind-the-scenes influence. It's not very transparent.
Well, good.
I help out the show. But yeah, we did just do, we just did a podcast on one of Richard Grove's documentaries about how we're all kind of brainwashed by consumerism and public schooling and things of that sort. So that was interesting.
So we started out sharing together a nice laugh over the first episode of Peace News, and we were both, it was November 5th, 2012, and we're sitting talking into a microphone, staring at a wall, like literally in the corner. We were like looking into the corner of a wall and trying to get some kind of sound.
So nostalgic.
Yeah. So a lot has happened in that time. Like, how have you grown since then? Since that time, you know, we become different people several times over in our lifetime. So, like, just tell me some of the ways that you've grown in just those couple of years.
Oh, gosh. Well, I still think back to that time that we spent in Virginia working with Adam vs. the Man. Like, I think about it all the time, and, like, what a like valuable experience it was, and like all the things I learned from it. And like it's also one of those learning experiences where you like make a lot of mistakes, and then you're like, oh, I bet if I had handled it differently, then you know, maybe I could have avoided, you know, whatever, some inconveniences or whatever. So it was, I mean, that's really how you learn. So it was really valuable in that way too. And a lot of people recognize me from that show, so I don't know. But since then, I don't really know exactly how I'm different. That's hard to think about. I feel like I'm kind of the same person, just with more experiences.
And like, thank goodness, right? Because you're one of these people who has the courage to just try something. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do ALP. I'm gonna have my own show. You hosted that for a while. You got the experience. You moved on, and like that is so valuable to grow as a person, and to have those conclusions. One of the things I'm noticing, this the listening audience at LRN.FM can't tell, but you look beautiful, by the way. You're just looking.
Thank you, Derek.
You're always looking the best. And I'm wondering, you had talked about or kicked around the idea of doing makeup tutorials for YouTube. Those videos are so popular. Have you done any of those? Because you'd be great at it.
No. Oh, that would be so much fun, and I think it would be, like, that's one of my dreams. But, I am kind of a perfectionist, and I noticed that in a lot of these videos, to really make it, you have to, like, have the, like, most perfect lighting and, like, a really good camera, and there's a lot of, like, editing and switching around. And
So
like
true.
part of it is also to like show off how many different kinds of makeup products you have. And like collection's pretty.
And then use this, and then you're going to use this on top of that, and then you're going to use another one of these.
Yeah.
They have like 50 different kinds of makeup by the time they're finished the video. I mean, they're wearing 50 different things on their face.
Yeah.
Well, that is freaking funny. And so what can we watch you at? Are you still have the website alleyhavens.com? Is that still active? Do you post stuff there?
I do. I just revamped it. I actually I've always owned the domain name, but I hadn't had it before. When you went to alleyhavens.com, it didn't go to a website. Now it does go to a website, and my plan is to post blogs there for now because I really like the idea of writing. I mean, I love being on live shows, but I really think that that was part of what I learned since working with you and Adam vs. the Man, was that I really like writing because you can think out everything you say and be much more articulate and concise.
You
So
were
I
such
think
a
that's
hilarious writer. I have to just say, I mean, I know it's the remaining seconds, but like if people go and look up those early videos of AVTM, Allie wrote like half of those episodes, and you'll never know it.
Oh, that's too generous.
You won't see it in the credits, but they're hilarious. They're so funny. You just go back and watch some of them. It's sort of like The Daily Show, but for libertarians. I mean, nothing since has ever...
It was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun, Allie. Thanks so much for being a part of it. Thanks for all of our history, and thanks for being so awesome as an activist. I love you. Peace. Oh, and thanks,
Thank you so
listeners.
much, Derek, and good luck with everything.
Looking for work.
Bye.
Thank you. Hey, that's going to do it for this episode. So next I'm going to have Ian Freeman to just like close things off, because that's finished for LRN.FM, but we're going to end it for the YouTube audience with Ian. So we're going to get him on in just a second. Thanks so much, Allie. Peace.
Messages. Otherwise, you frustrate people who bother.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned, listeners.
Asking them to repeat a message they just left as your voicemail greeting instructed them to. If you're a job applicant, this alone could be a deal killer. And even if you're things you can convey to someone that are as fundamentally maddening as "I didn't hear you." With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.fm.
All right, and we're back. So this is the very final segment. This is the post show of Peace News. We've just wrapped things up. Thanks for being here. This is Ian Freeman.
It was nice to listen to.
Thank you. You were listening to the program director of LRN.FM, and thanks for putting Peace News on for all these years.
My pleasure.
It has been, without you, this would not have been possible. So
I don't know about that, but I appreciate the accolades.
It's true because you gave me the encouragement, the fact that you do so many live shows, the fact that you put this program together. I mean, how long has LRN.FM even been around?
2009
is when it started.
Sometime there. Yeah.
And where did you get the inspiration to do LRN?
A long time ago, I had a website and I created this thing called the Voice of Liberty, which was sort of a predecessor to LRN.FM. I doubt anyone even knew it existed. and it essentially ran a bunch of MP3 archives on a loop, I think. And I took that idea once into Free Talk Live and had some more money that I could do something with. I purchased a professional automation system for radio and came up with this method of sort of automating the reception of that way. I don't have to actually do the work of pulling each show from the 36 shows or something like that that are on the network. So essentially, I created this robot that is LRN.FM. There's usually no one doing anything with the network, and it's kind of just a labor of love for me. It's a hobby. Did I answer your question?
Yes, and Mark recently said this, and it's true. No one will ever know the dedication that you have to your activism, because I see this sometimes being your roommate, that like LRN goes down and like boom, you're on it, you set it back up, even if it's at a distance. Sometimes you can correct that.
Yeah, that's true. And Daryl Perry has been doing an amazing job, actually, sort of as the assistant program director. If I'm not here, he's frequently here and frequently in the studio, and he can also catch some of those problems when they do crop up. They'll always crop up.
But I mean, it is almost like 24 hours that you have to monitor this thing. Or do you have like alarms that go off and something to your phone if something goes off while you're asleep?
If there's too much silence on the network, it will send me an email to give me a heads up.
And LRN broadcasts, how far does it go? I mean, it's on satellite, right? So it's reaching Africa.
Yeah, I was so excited when a guy named Akko reached out to me online, because I always knew that, in theory, somebody in one of these other countries could find our signal. And he did, and he introduced other people in Cameroon, Africa, to LRN, to your show and Freedom Fiends. He really loved Freedom Fiends live. And, of course, Freedom Fiends is live at 1 a.m. Eastern time, and that's like midday their time, or not quite midday, I guess a little bit past GMT. So it's daylight hours, morning radio, essentially, over in Cameroon. And they loved it, and he introduced a bunch of his friends to it. And it's funny, the African signal that we have for LRN.FM is essentially like a bonus. Initially, the satellite company that I've been purchasing time with over the years, I started buying time on the satellite pretty much, I think, in 2010, so very near the beginning of LRN. And so a couple years in like 2012, the satellite company contacts me. They say, "Oh, we've got a new satellite above Africa, and we're wondering if you want a free trial. We'll put you on for two months for free." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds great."
Who would say no to that?
Right. I didn't have the money to, and I still don't have the money to, necessarily purchase that time on that satellite. And I'm grateful that the satellite company has left our channel up there for 2 years.
No way.
Yeah.
Do they know? Did they just forget about you?
I don't know.
I'm not remind them. Yeah.
No, but what I suspect it is that the satellite's so new, they want channels to be there. That way they can actually sell channels to other people. Like, why would you want to pay for time on a satellite that's empty? Right? Yeah. Nobody's going to be pointing at that. So I think we're providing that role for that satellite company. And at the same time, people in Ghana and Cameroon have said they've been listening, and this guy's like with the secessionist movement.
They're hardcore.
Yeah.
And they're putting up satellites like in violation of the government too, right? They put satellites on their house. They're not supposed to be getting satellite dishes to receive the signal, and they're like not supposed to get some of these things. Apparently, the government tries to censor what they can receive.
I don't think there's an outright ban on satellite dishes in Cameroon, but I know that's the case in Cuba. And if you've got a satellite dish in Cuba, at least as of several years ago, that's essentially contraband there. So we're getting Cuba as well.
But you can't prevent what people can receive from the sky. So
That's
it's
true.
so cool. So you're the program director of LRN.FM. Like as if I have to mention that you host Free Talk Live, a show that you created. What was it? 2002. And you've done civil disobedience activism, which is probably how I came to know about you first.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't a Free Talk Live listener, unlike many people who moved to New Hampshire as part of the Free State Project. I saw you in some of these YouTube videos, speaking into a microphone or a megaphone out at some of these Rich Paul events. Like, Rich Paul was really one of the ones who inspired me a lot because of the cannabis thing. I was so into that. I was, I was way into cannabis at the time. And, so thanks for all the things that you do. You sitting in front of a police car, going to jail. It was because you went to jail that I got my opportunity to be on Free Talk Live. So
Yeah, thank goodness.
Thanks. Well, I just want to thank you for all the things that you've done.
Thanks.
And producing Victimless Crime Spree, which for me has been
It's a pinnacle for me. I mean, gosh, what an amazing movie. And now with the Victimless Crime Spree song coming out this week, what an amazing thing to have happen, how art has inspired other art, sort of in the same way you were at the Ross Ulbricht trial holding signs, and people made art of you guys holding signs, which I just thought was so cool. Of course, all the photos that were taken by the media as well. Just incredible.
Well, there's more fun to be had. Of course, freekeene.com is where people can see the latest of what's going on here in Keene. You're a blogger there, so am I.
Yes.
I just put up the Victimless Crime Spree song, so if people want to hear that, that's where they can see it.
Yep, still ruining the movement every day at freekeene.com.
And I just want to thank you sincerely. You know,
Well,
of all the heroes I've had on this program, you are certainly one of the biggest. So thank you for all the things that you do, paving the way and making it easy for me to just plug in and do a program like this. So thank you so much.
I think that, thank you, because you are the star as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you look wonderful all the time, and you're so well presented. It's why Victimless Crime Spree, I think, works so well. Now, obviously, people that come at Victimless Crime Spree, they
and
have
Bo
their
Davis,
mindset.
the editing is also incredible as well.
Yeah, but I mean, but without Bo Davis works magic, no doubt. But without the star, the movie's not gonna be anything. And your personality is so friendly, it's so amicable. People would have to really be truly black-hearted to, I think, look at you as somebody who's a bad guy. It's the music.
I'm leading us out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and you're great. So I'm happy to help.
Sorry for the abrupt ending there
No,
with,
no
the, with the
problem.
music, but I
It was
did.
the Victimless Crime Spree
I tried to creep it up here. Hey, I want to thank you again. I want to thank all my guests who are on today. This will wrap up Peace News, and I thank you all for those of you who listened to the program. Those of you in the chat room, I've always had so much fun chatting with all the different names. You know who you are, and those of you who've donated. Of course, the Bitcoin QR code is up in the top right-hand corner, and if you enjoyed this and you want to consume some more, it's going to be on LRN.FM Thursday nights. It's taking the spot for Flaming Freedom. So Flaming Freedom will be the new sex talk show. There's going to be some liberty in there, but mostly lots of sex going on. Thanks again. Peace.